All right, we're back for another edition of the Fearless Forecast. We took a week off, and to update everybody, Tony, there's one team left in Pitt County that's still in the playoffs. Rose is in now the state semifinal round.
Yeah.
Obviously doing good things, winning a bunch of games. We'll get to that in a minute. Let's do kind of a season recap, kind of thoughts on the year.
Okay.
So start us off, just some thoughts on the season, maybe some other teams. And
Yeah, the thing that really stands out, I think you have to mention that Conley-Rose game in the playoffs. It was unbelievable, I think is the best way to describe it. I mean,
you attended as a fan.
This is how unbelievable it is. I was coming back from Winston-Salem, my hometown. I drove straight to the game because I didn't want to miss a minute of it. I didn't even drop my stuff off. My bags were in the car. My clothes are hanging in the back seat. But I didn't want to miss a minute of it, and boy, am I glad I went. I mean, it lived up to everything, all the hype. A lot of times those games are a letdown when they actually play. That one, 46-43, goes right down to the wire. Each team took the other one's best punch. Packed house, people lining not only the sidelines and the stands, but each end zone was lined. Just a great atmosphere. Probably the best high school football game I've seen in Pitt County since I've been here.
Yeah, for sure.
It was incredible. And the other thing that really stands out is Aiden Grifton's run. Coach Paul Cornwell, you know, we're used to them doing great things year in and year out. They get off to an 0-6 start this year. It really looks like it's going to be a lost season. They reel off 7 consecutive wins, go deep into the playoffs. I think the lesson there is never count Coach Cornwell and his team out. What a turnaround for that team.
I agree. Yeah, speaking of turnarounds, Farmville Central, it's kind of been lost in the shuffle a little bit here recently. They played in a really good league.
Definitely.
Lost a couple games, but man, they were winless a couple years ago. Every week we used to rag on they're losing.
We just knew they couldn't get it done.
We were waiting at some point they were going to bust out. I think they did. I think that's what stood out to me. I think a couple programs kind of took that next step. Farmville obviously got off the schneid and won a ton of games. Rose is now back in state championship conversation, took that next step. And I think Conley established that, hey, it's going to be a program year in and year out. It's going to be good, and win a bunch of games and hosted a playoff game or a couple playoff games. So I think those three programs kind of took that next step and I think are on the rise, which that's what stood out to me.
I'd agree with that.
I was speaking of Rose. Let's get into the meat of this show, this thing. Obviously, they're one win away from the state championship.
Unbelievable.
In the 4A bracket, but they traveled to Scotland County, a team that many people think is one of the best teams in the state. So a tough matchup, Tony.
Yeah, it is, and I mean, not only is it a tough matchup, it'd be a tough matchup anywhere to have to go there and try to beat that team. The 14-0 really stands out, and it's a program with a lot of tradition. Something Rose knows something about too. I mean, that's a tradition-rich program as well. But yeah, that'll be a tough haul. I mean, you go there. They're number 2 in the state. The only reason they're number 2 in the state is because the team ahead of them, Mallard Creek, is nationally ranked. And it's a tough task. But you know what? Rose has been in this position before. Maybe not against this caliber of opponent. But they've had games where we thought maybe they weren't going to come out on top, and they've proven us wrong. I mean, I don't know. What do you think about Scotland County in the matchup?
Yeah, one thing I think you were getting at there, and I want to touch on, Rose played at Pine Forest the first round, played at Wilmington Highgard last week. Conley was obviously in Greenville, but 2 of the 3 matchups they've won on the road were long trips. And we're dealing with another long trip here, so I think this matchup's more about the opponents, the talent, the X's and O's, than it is a long trip, maybe compared to when Rose played the first round or last week against Wilmington. I think they've gotten that out of their system.
Yeah, that makes sense.
I think they can hang in. They're going to have to score points. I mean, Scotland scored more than 40 in 10 of its 14 games. I think Rose is going to have to find ways. Cornell Powell's been awesome. Obviously, we've documented that. He's going to have to get some big plays. The offense is going to have to keep up. I think it's a close game. I guess I'll start the picking here since I'm kind of leaning toward it. But I'm still kicking myself for not picking the Rampants against Conley
Coach
a couple weeks ago.
I've
heard about that for weeks, and I hate to do it again, but I think I got to take Scotland. I mean, like I said, I'd love to pick Rose. I think they're really, really playing well, but I think this is just another step of competition. I mean, I think Scotland is going to win the state championship. To be honest, I mean, I think they're that good. I think they could hang with Mallard Creek. It might be the only team in the entire state that can hang with Mallard Creek. I think they're that good. If you just look at the numbers, obviously I hadn't seen them play, but the numbers I think they're a little too much for Rose. Like I said, I think the Rampants can hang in if they score a bunch of points and create some turnover, do some crazy things. But I'll take Scotland. I will say though, since I have been catching some slack, if Rose wins this week, We'll do a show next week, state championship style, and I'll pick the Rapists to win it all.
No matter who they play.
Yeah, I think if they beat Scotland, the winner of this game wins the state championship.
Yeah.
So that's my pick. The East wins.
Okay, well, I tell you what, the fact that not me so much, you more than me, have picked against Rose, maybe that's a good thing.
That's true.
Because picking against them, they've continued to win and make it this far in the playoffs. And I battled with this pick. I mean, when I looked at it at first glance, I thought, oh, Scotland County's going to run away with it. I've talked with some other media members here in town who know something about that team, and they said, oh, Rose is going to get blown out. I'm not so sure. I feel like, the fact that Rose has won so many games in so many different ways, they can win high-scoring games. They can win 15 to 12 defensive battles because they have good people on that side of the ball as well. I really, really had a tough time doing this, but hey, Rose, when we pick against you, you win, so I'll pick against you too. Scotland County's going to win.
I like you kind of led us on a little bit there. The thing is, we both have good things to say about Rose.
Absolutely.
This is just a monstrous matchup. I think a great game. But yeah, I guess we'll both say Scotland in a close game probably.
Yeah, I think it'll be a close one. And then when Rose wins, we'll pick them to win the state.
Yeah, exactly. That's our plan from here on out. But yeah, it's been a good year, and like I said, we might see you next week. State championship style. If not, good season for all the teams. Make sure you stay in touch and grab the paper and check out Reflector.com as well.